What's up, dudes? I'm Lazy Universe, your master geeky and nerdy, and welcome to a new episode. And today we're talking about Doom Patrol Episode 2. This episode was entitled as Donkey Patrol. If you have looking for a good series to watch, definitely Doom Patrol is one of them. Also, in case you haven't watched Doom Patrol yet, as in the Netflix television series or the DC Netflix television series, there will be some spoilers from here on out. So if you have not watched Doom Patrol yet, I'm warning you right now that there will be spoilers in this review. So just keep that aware. Holy crap! This episode was full of what the fuck moments, but in the good way. So the episode opens up with Mr. Nobody, played by Alan Tudyk. And let me tell you, Alan Tudyk is a godsend. Okay? Alan Tudyk is a godsend. I am not joking. The man is like mythology. Okay, I love him as the announcer, but there is a reason why he's the announcer, and that basically he wants us to pay attention to. So he talked about what happened in the original, the origin story of the Doom Patrol, which I also kind of talked into. And also you have Corverton, the town that Doom Patrol works in, that's being sucked into the ground. And after it's sucked into the ground, Jane, or Hammerhead, one of her many personas, tried to grab onto the truck and basically bring it back into the, basically have it hold. I made a mistake with Jane the last time. I said that she had 67 personas. I was incorrect. She had 62, I think it was. So 62, 63 personas. So that's a lot. But Jane also gets sucked into the Donkeyverse as well. So after this entire thing happens, I love this too. Robot Man just keeps going, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" And then the final time when he goes, "What the fuck?" Rita goes, "Okay! We get it! Stop repeating it!" And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to just be normal about this." And Rita and Cliff are going at each other's throats and whatnot. And then Larry goes, "No. There's a reason why we're here. And there is a reason why this happened." And so he goes into a pretty good speech that basically says, like, we did this. Us, the freaks, us, the circus freaks, did this. We caused this. If we just stayed out of the way, we would have been okay. And I'm like, no, but I see where Larry's coming from, and that kind of matters, and respect and everything. So we do start off the episode, and even Alan Tudyk is talking as the narrator. And I love this scene because this is like such comedy when shows do it. Gumball had done it. There'd been a lot of shows that done it. I know that Deadpool had done it. But he breaks the fourth wall. And then Niles Calder, again, Timothy Dalton, I had to think of his name. Timothy Dalton is a godsend as Niles Calder. He really captured him. But he looks at Alan and he goes, "Who the Sam hell are you talking to?" And this is the best part. He goes, "Grant Morrison fans, subscribers of DC, and the people who have Netflix." I'm like, that is comedy. That is just great comedy, especially how he references Morrison, because this is the Morrison Doom Patrol. I know I made that connection at the beginning, but this is actually Morrison. And really, this one feels like it comes straight out of a Morrison comic book, and I'll explain in a bit. So, like I said, Jane and everybody get sucked into the Donkey universe, and Rita makes a thing to Cliff that because Cliff wants to be a hero, he wants to save the world and everything. He just wants to do good when it's necessary. And then Rita goes, "What? You just want to go around and punching everything? You think that everything can be solved with your fist? Look around you, Cliff! what do we have? And I'm like, oh. Well, that's, no, she had a point. It's like, look around us, Cliff. What do we got, baby? And it's like, nothing. So, you know, so Cliff is trying to hang out with the donkey, but we'll get back to that in a few. Meanwhile, we go to Detroit, and this is what confused me at first, even though I knew that he was in this. You have a woman at a ATM, but she has a guy with a gun to the back, and the guy trying to get money out from her, and the guy says all that he wants is just $400, and the ATM talked back to him, and it goes, "Come on, man, you can't be serious. Do you want to be rich, Bruce Wayne rich, or dumb rich?" And Cyborg just shoots out the $400 basically to distract the dude. And it is Cyborg, mind you. But at first, I thought it was a different hero. Because in the DC universe, somebody who does work, I think it wouldn't matter. But at first I thought it was like maybe DC trying to introduce Tim Drake. Because Tim Drake is a hacker, he knows how to do these things and whatnot. I just thought that maybe it was like a nice little Easter egg to Tim Drake because he's a hacker. It would be something up his alley. But then when it was Cyborg, I got even happier, And the actor that plays Cyborg, let me just get his name here. Javian Wade. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Is it Javian? It's not Javian, right? It's Javian. Javian Wade is Cyborg. Like, this dude does a great young Cyborg. And if Ray Fisher didn't get dicked over by Zack Snyder, if Mr. Snyder is watching this, oh, Mr. Snyder, you have a lot of apologizing to do to Mr. Fisher, don't you? But if he ever got his ass in gear and brought Ray Fisher back on board to the Justice League, I think Javian would be great as a young Cyborg. But Cyborg is the protector of Detroit, and there's a lot of people notice him. But there's a reason why he wants to get noticed. And it's something that comes up in this that I'm surprised is even brought up here. But it does happen in some of the comic books at the time, where Cyborg joins the Justice League instead of the Teen Titans. And I'm kind of sitting back going, but this is Cyborg. I know this dude from Teen Titans. He's one of my favorite Titans. I don't mind if he goes to, whatever other team. But then I thought about it. Cyborg's origin story. About what happened to him. And I'm like, honestly, Cyborg on the Doom Patrol suddenly made so much sense to me. I was like, I get this now. I get why they made this choice. And in case you're wondering if Cyborg was a part of Morrison's Doom Patrol, I don't believe he was. It was a lot of people on Morrison's Doom Patrol, but not Cyborg. Because Grant Morrison Doom Patrol came out in the 80s, and Cyborg was a part of the DC's New Teen Titans. Or basically Titans. So no, he was not a part of this. But this is really still cool to figure out. So Cyborg, he doesn't want to be this one deal dude. He wants to, help people when it matters. And there's a reason why he helped people that will be explained much later. But he's like, and he's really mad at his father. This is comic lore. Silas and Victor don't go well together. Cyborg hates Silas for what he turned him into. Silas is trying to get back into contact with his son over what happened. Silas is very protective of Cyborg. It's very reminiscent. And Phil Morris as Silas Stone, Victor's father, he does really good in his performance, I gotta say. He does really, really good. But first, this plays out very much like a comedy, because Cyborg goes to Cloverton and he sees Cliff very funnily is going after the jackass, the donkey. And trying to explain this to Victor, and Victor goes, "What are you doing to the freaking donkey?" He's like, "This donkey is the cause of the problem." And Victor goes, "Why is the donkey the part of the problem?" He said, "The freaking donkey is the whole deal. Why the town is missing?" He says, "I see nothing but you people here. The donkey's not the problem." All of a sudden, the donkey spits out Jane, and then he's like, "Suddenly, you, what?" She's basically like, "What moment?" So, Cliff is trying to help out Robot Man, and everybody is trying to help out Jane. But Jane is not stable, is what I mean. And the actress that played Jane does a really great job here by going through different personas. As I said, she had 62, 63 personas. I think it was 62. But she goes through all these different personas, and she goes through them quickly. So having the actress knowing when to change personas, this had been hard for her. Because 1 minute she'd be a normal, kind of. But she'd kind of sitting there going, dead in his hands, dead in his hands, dead in his hands, in the fetal position, on to keep repeating dead in his hands, dead in his hands, dead in his hands, dead in his hands. And then she changes to Hammerhead. Then she changes to somebody else, a British woman. Then she changes into like a horny teenager, I guess, because she goes from a shy person, like, "Please don't touch me, please don't touch me," that kind of thing, and then immediately she goes to like a horny woman, teenager kind of thing, where she goes, "Touch me," and I'm like, the frick is going on with this woman? But it will make sense why she was changing personas like quickly and instantly. So immediately she becomes a 5-year-old. She becomes Baby Doll. And each of these personas, though they're fucked up, it's Morrison. There is a reason why they're screwed up. So, each persona is going there, but then he comes across Baby Doll. Then Baby Doll starts fangirling over Cyborg when she sees Cyborg in the picture. And she goes, "Oh my god, Cyborg, I love you. You are fantastic. You're the best superhero ever." And of course, they make a reference to the Justice League. Well, of course. When they mention Flash, and then Cyborg goes, "He's not as fast as people say that he is." And I'm like, yes, he is. Have you seen what Flash can do to people if he moves fast enough? This is Flash. This is not Slowpoke, man. Maybe he was referencing like Jay or Johnny Quick or something, but if this is Wally, which he probably is, if this is Wally, Wally is the fastest Flash according to DC Comics. He moves faster than everyone else because he is mostly attached to the Speed Force or something like that. Fans of the Flash are fangirling over this moment, guaranteed. Or fanboying. I don't complain. But yes, they reference the Flash, and they even make kind of a Batman reference with the Bruce Wayne thing, so apparently, yes, they're referencing the Justice League. But then, Cliff goes to Niles' room. But there was a reason for that. Niles had interrogation tapes, or just tapes, when he talked with Jane. And of course, it kind of looks like, like CSI interrogation things, like the old crime drama interrogation room, type thing. And there's a lot of tapes numbered with each and every different one of basically Jane's personas. So Niles makes a tape every time he meets one of Jane's personas. And these things are massively numbered, just like hundreds of them in like this closet space that go from like 2, 2, 2, 38, 27, 21, 16, 19. And it's like, wow, you're going to be in here for a while, Robot Man. You're going to be watching these for a long, long, long time. But then he comes across a tape where they talk about a woman named, I think it was Claudia, where they kind of reference like, why don't nobody want to talk to Claudia? And she's like, well, a lot of my personas are scared of Claudia. And he's like, no, Jane, why do your personas not want to let her out from this place called the Underground? because she does not like being interrogated. And immediately, rings went off in Robot Man's head, and he's like, oh shit, Cyborg, duck with her! And he is running, he is rushing for it. Because Cyborg asks Baby Doll, when they're kind of having like a nice little moment talking with one another, and then all of a sudden, Jane's on fire. Jane is basically the Human Torch by this moment, and she starts torching through the house, so to speak. She doesn't actually light it on fire, she torches through it, she almost attacks Cyborg. Not Victor. Robot Man comes in and he pushes them out of the way, and Cyborg's like, what the deal, man? And he's like, don't hurt Jane. He says, I know what the problem is, we just don't need to hurt her. And then she changes forms into, I forget her name, Linda? Yeah. Linda was the second persona who had electricity powers. Linda's Surge or Surge. It was something that's like an outlet, so to speak. And I'm like, clever. So then she electrocutes the both of them. Then she changes into Hammerhead. And each of these personas have different powers. Claudia has fire powers. Linda has electricity powers. Hammerhead has super strength. And then there's a funny scene in this where Larry goes, Negative Man goes to Rita's room. He knocks on the door and he says, want to come outside with me? And Rita's like, why? And suddenly you see Cliff in the background, ah! Flaring over to the other side of the room, and then Jane going, you motherfucking asshole! And Rita's like, I could use some air. So they leave while Jane is beating the crap out of Robot Man, and then all of a sudden you have this character named Silverton. And there's a good reason why this character is called Silverton. Words that she says actually come out. They actually eliminate, and then they can become a weapon. Because when she says underground, she has a katana blade right here against Robot Man, and she's like, what do you know about the underground? Not much. Robot Man fight, not much. But listen to me. Calm down for a minute. Let everybody calm down. He says, I can help you. He says, I know what you're basically going through. I can help you. And she, suddenly kind of goes back and forth through different changes. Almost tries to calm down. Then Victor, Cyborg, comes out of nowhere. Hustles her into the room and then locks the door. And then says, I took care of that. And I'm just like, Cyborg, dude, no. You don't. I know that you're just meeting these people, but you don't understand what was going on, bro. Dude. That kind of moment where you're like, dude. Just a dude moment of stupidity. So he hustles her in there. Robot Man is trying to basically calm down Jane, which does actually take a while. However, Negative Man, Rita, and Cyborg are going to take a look at the donkey. Cyborg notices while scanning the donkey that it's suddenly like a doorway. You go through its mouth, you enter the doorway. So they had the idea of turning Rita into basically her blob form and then sending her down there. Now, I know that Rita can make herself big and small. I haven't read Grant Morrison stuff, I just noticed from seeing her in other things. So I know that she can grow very large, and she can shrink very tiny. She just could have went very tiny and went through the donkey, but that's okay. So they get into the donkey. I know, that sounds dirty, but shut up. Everybody does. First Rita, and then Rita notices that everybody's in there, and then Cyborg tries to grab Rita via the trash bag that they put her in to get her down the donkey. Kind of like they were funnel feeding it. And then when Cyborg grabs her, he notices that he and Larry are going in for the ride. But this is not all. When they get in there, it's kind of beautiful. You have a purple sky. You have cherry blossoms everywhere. Nice little lake. But then, in the freaky part, there are people in this. But the people aren't people. They're like paintings. And they're all stapled up onto trees, so to speak, including a cricket, and this thing is called Emerton Cricket. Now, I think Emerton Cricket will become apparent later. I think this is supposed to be a reference to Ambush Bug, but I don't know yet. Ambush Bug, I think it's a Grant Morrison creation. He is a dude, essentially, who wears kind of like a bug suit, and he is a part of the Doom Patrol. He wears a bug suit, and he can transport to different dimensions. But I don't know if this is an Easter egg or whatnot towards him. I have no idea. It's not Beast Boy, I'm going to say that for a fact. So, I just thought it was very weird seeing that there. And that's his name, Emerson or Emerton Cricket. So I just thought it was weird. However, when they get in there, even stranger, you have 3 separate podiums with headphones. Actual old school headphones, like the 1960s style headphones. There was one that said, Mr. Electricity, which is a reference to Negative Man, Goop Girl, which is Rita, and then you have Cyborg. So they all put them on, and then they get teleported to different places. Rita gets sent to Hollywood. Larry gets sent back to his old school job of being a flight test pilot. But Cyborg gets the worst one. He goes back to his accident, the place where he was born. Rita goes just to Hollywood, and Larry goes to fly the plane. The test plane, the M13 test plane that he flew in the first episode. So why did Cyborg get the worst one? And then it becomes apparent why he gets the worst one. Cyborg gets the worst one because he's punishing Cyborg. He actually is punishing all of them, but at first he plays around with Cyborg. He's like, look at your dead mother over there. And I'm like, oh, hello, I didn't know Cyborg's mom was in the background burning over there, so to speak. That's nice. That's apparent. Well, good. But then he really starts to screw up Cyborg. And the reason is because Cyborg already went through a lot. So Mr. Nobody probably figured if he could break Cyborg, they wouldn't have him. And this is being relative to his also narrator voice. Remember how I said it was important that Mr. Nobody is the narrator? It actually is. Mr. Nobody is playing the story. He is the script writer. He is the one behind everything. Even when they pick up the headphones and listen to him, he says what they're going to say or do. And even when Rita goes to Hollywood and he's talking about what Rita's doing, Rita goes, anybody hear that? And everybody's like, oh, Rita, you're such a card. It's like, no, I think I'm tripping balls. Why is he talking to me? So to speak. So Rita basically goes on to do her performance, but then he starts screwing over Rita by showing her a baby. Which becomes very weird to me. It's like, there was never a baby mentioned in Rita's origin. Never, not once. Does this mean that Rita had an abortion? Ooh, we got like little theories that we can make here with the baby. So earlier, we found out that Larry's other form is not him. This is another person that's inside of Larry. So, when Larry mentioned that he cannot escape, it really does mean that. Because there is a scene earlier, and it's hilarious and sad, when he tries to leave to other places. Every time he tries to get on the bus, his other form, the cosmic form, escapes out of Larry, and then Larry's like, okay, let's get on the bus. Yes, and it's kind of hilarious, but then it starts to get sad when you realize Larry can't escape. Every time he tries to leave Cloverton, he's like, okay, he just keeps escaping out of Larry's body. And then Larry, in a hilarious fashion, in front of 100 people, basically, at the bus station, and even the actress that plays the bus station driver, or ticketer, is very hilarious. And then he goes, right out loud, he goes, what do you want from me? He said, why would you let me leave? Why? Why did you place me here? Why can't I leave? And everybody's like, go this way. Let's just go this way, so to speak. But yeah, he does scream that. And then when he's a test pilot, Mr. Nobody going to Larry and he's like, why are you a test pilot? I wanted to be a hero. You? A hero? You're not a hero. You're a nobody. You're just a person who's living a fantasy. You're no hero. And so he also plays under psychosis a lot. He brings in other people that they basically know. Like with Rita, it's a baby. Could the baby be an unborn child? Could she might have had an abortion at some point? Did she give away a child that she had? These are the questions that we need to ask. And then when he gets to Larry, he really drills it into Larry and Cyborg especially. When he does it with Larry or Negative Man, he really drains the mind of his wife, his gay lover, and also Larry in his burn form. So he really tried to freak out Larry and Cyborg especially. And with Cyborg, you have Phil Morris, but Alan Tudyk speaking over him, and it's like horror movie vibes. I'm just sitting back like, okay, what are we doing? And then when that scene was over with, we go back to Jane and Robot Man, who do actually have a little bit of a connection, like father-daughter connection. But before that they get really like connected, and Cyborg and Robot Man has a good speech with her, his daughter Clara is in the background, drawing on the floor, but creepily humming. May I remind you, Clara is only supposed to be 8 to 9 years old. So hearing a little creepy voice, a little person's voice humming, does not make me comfortable. I'm sitting back with chills going down my spine going, okay, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal, this is normal, this is a normal. When it is not a normal. I repeat, it is not a normal. So, eventually, Larry was the one that got out of the zone. But it wasn't Larry. It was Larry's other persona. Larry's persona escapes, and then he frees everybody, and he explodes the donkey. Yes, the donkey. The donkey just upright and just explodes in blood and guts and gore. And I'm like, oh, well. But everything returns back to normal. Which is weird. So nobody had no idea what a chief is. Everybody kind of getting back and connected to each other. And Cyborg tried to make a plan with Robot Man on how they can probably find the chief. But before that happens, Silas showed up. Silas Stone, Victor's father. So he and Victor have a conversation. He's like, what are you doing here? Did freaking Niall talk you into this? And he's like, no, Dad. Niall didn't talk me into this. I came on my own. And he's like, what are you... And Cyrus is like, what are you doing with Circus Freak? And this is where really Phil Morris and Javian... what's the last name? Wade. This is where Phil Morris and Javian Wade really stand out. This scene here where they're going back and forth. Because it actually does feel like father-son. Both actors do a superb job. And he's like, why are you here? I'm trying to get you recognized. I'm trying to get you on the Justice League. Why? Why are you here? And Cyborg's like, Dad, I don't want to talk about this right now. I'm trying to do the right thing. And he does. He mentions and he says, I'm going to join the Doom Patrol first, find out what happened to Niall Calder, then we can talk. And Cyborg's like, I can upgrade you. You can be so much more. And he's like, he basically was like, fuck you, Dad. I'm doing my own thing. I'm adulting. I'm like, okay. And every so often when Cyborg finished speaking, Javian Wade, I went, can I get a booyah? No? Alright. Well, fuck it then. But then Vic basically decided that he's going to stay. So he knocks on, Rita's door, and he asks where the guest room is, and Rita tells him. And so he understands Rita afterwards, like with her acting stuff and how she is, and how people keep her calm instead of going into a monstrous form. And he looks at Rita and he goes, Rita, wait. He goes, you did good today. You were a star. And I'm like, oh. That's sweet. But during this happening, the ending scene when everybody comes out of the donkey and they're all scathed and kind of in defeat and whatnot, God bless DC. They played the David Bowie song Lazarus. I was just sitting there singing along with it going, oh, I can be free. I even put my hands up like dancing along to it. So I was singing along to it because I love David Bowie. I was like, yay! But there was a moment where we actually see what Larry looks like, and Larry is very burnt. Whether that he's suffering, what's the highest degree burn? I think it's 4th degree burn. He had 4th and 3rd degree burns like all over his body. His face is gone. All that he has is just muscle tissues, But he looks good. He looks good. And you were talking to a guy who's seen worse than this. I mean, this to me, seeing Larry's actual face was nothing. It didn't engage me at all. And Larry goes, okay, we're going to talk. So he writes a note, and he tapes it onto his mirror that said, we need to set some ground rules. And Larry lies down and falls asleep. And then his other spirit comes out, his persona. And the persona sees the letter, and you can actually see the persona. It has eyes, like actual eyes, blue eyes. And it's all, cosmic and electricity, and it sees the note. So obviously this means that maybe next episode, Larry and his persona will get more of a good vibe together. But then we cut to Jane's room. Jane is coloring, but it's not Jane, it's a persona called the Heyman's daughter, who is the artist persona for Jane. And the picture we end on is a picture of Cyborg in his Justice League outfit, the one that he wore in the actual movie Justice League, holding Silas Stone, with what looks like, to me, a dead Rita, Cliff, Robot Man, pulled apart, and then Jane, or Raven, because it really did look like Raven from Teen Titans, dead. Is this portraying that Silas Stone dies? Which in some comics and variations, Silas Stone does die. I remember in the Justice and the Super Friends cartoon that I used to watch growing up, I can't remember what one, when Cyborg was a part of them, Cyborg mentions his father was gone. His father was dead. I have no idea what this means, but I can theorize that there's going to be a lot going on for this team. And you know what? I'm excited, man. I really want to see where this series ends up. I know that that the first episode I was kind of like not really talking into this. I talked about this for over half an hour. A little over half an hour. This should show you how excited I am for this series. So, the next episode is called, and I'm just going to read it off here, Puppet Patrol, which also features an actual character created by Grant Morrison. So, expect me probably in the title of that video to make a reference to a Metallica song. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't checked out Doom Patrol yet, I hope that you do. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments down below. Do you think that these characters are going to die? Do you think that maybe Jane can tell the future? Let me know in the comments down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, if you ever see a donkey, just remember, could always be a gateway to another universe. And also, if you hear a voice in your head that sounds like Alan Tudyk, he's telling the story of your life. And until next time.